Hi, my name's Ashley, and in 2017 I went for a walk, a 2,800-mile walk across Western Europe, from baking hot Spain to the icy mountain passes of the Alps. This is my adventure.
I just want to reiterate how stupid it was to come up here.
Having spent the last 3 months walking across Spain, it was now time for the second leg of my walk across Europe, France. It would be a 716-mile hike from Andorra, high in the Pyrenees, to the iconic resort town of Chamonix at the foot of the Mont Blanc. I had a parcel containing new shoes and, more importantly, maps sent out to Andorra la Vella. After a week, the parcel was obviously lost, and I had to cut my losses and buy more shoes, but couldn't find decent maps anywhere. As a last resort, I downloaded the maps I needed to my phone, and then finally, after 8 days of waiting, I was walking in the mountains again. Currently at 8,500 feet. The ground has got increasingly snowier. The further I've got up, I've made my way through a number of snow drifts. Some of them have come up to my waist. I've got another, well, I think the high point's 9,200, so I've got another like 800 feet to climb, but the route goes through this huge snow field and then up to this col, and along this ridge, which, you know, I could do. Looking at the snow drift, I could probably make my way across that. The col doesn't look that too bad really. The ridge, well, who knows, it could be anything up there. But the thing that worries me is when I get to, there's a col further along somewhere, maybe past this summit. When I get to there, I've got to descend on the north face, and it's really steep according to the map. My worry is that I can see these north facing slopes over here, and I can see how snow covered they are. So I'm kind of thinking whether it's wise to push on. I was tempted to get up to that col and have a look what was there, but I don't think it's too wise to push my luck really. I'm the only person up here. I haven't seen anyone in hours. Yeah, no one really knows I'm here, so it's a bit. I don't really have the skills or the equipment. I don't have like an ice axe or anything, or crampons or snowshoes. So I don't know. I don't think it's wise to carry on. Or maybe I'm just being a chicken. On the plus side, it's gorgeous up here. It really is gorgeous. You pay for indecision with precious daylight, and daylight is something you cannot afford to waste at these altitudes, so I put together a plan to get on the move again, to make a big effort up to the col to recce what lay beyond. but then realised I was in fact lazy and didn't want to trudge through more snow. There had to be a lower, safer alternative, and I would find it.
Life. 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 In twisting, punky trunks. Life. In plates of stained rock, etched against the sky. Life. Wrapped around the sculpted edges, cool, misty scarves of white. Wrapped around the sculpted edges, cool, misty scarves of white. Life. Silent invitations to rise with them into natural awe, into wide exultation, impregnate the senses with longing. Blankets of colors.
Canigou is a mountain held sacred by the Catalan people, and with a summit at 2,784 metres, it was the highest I'd ever been, on foot, so far.
Life. Radiating intimacy. Life. Life. And the smell.
I'd emerged on the northern side of the Pyrenees and was properly in France. That night, I went to pitch my tent, but with a week to wait for spare parts, I made a temporary fix, except that fix was a bit too fixed and a bit too permanent. One pole section just wouldn't collapse anymore.
To the town he came and met a girl that very few would say is worth thinking of. Still he fell in love, and he brought her flowers every day. And she loved them, she loved him, she never felt that way. But they said, hey, those flowers, they are great. They can't stay, no, well, we'll let it slide. But read our signs, we don't like gray. Then one day they saw her in a dress, a gift from him, it was gray and red. It stopped them in their tracks. Ooh, they knew it matched. A revolution there was surely found inside that color-coded town. Some happy, some enraged, so they marched on over to the place where he brought her flowers every day. And she loved them, she loved him, she never felt that way. But they cried, let's take him to his grave. He can't stay, no, well, we done told him once. But now he's done, they cried. We told you stay away from that crazy color. Turn around, if you don't, we'll break you. And you don't have anyone to save you. He said she needs me to stay, cause gray can take her sorrow. So I will die tonight so she will know the gray will stay in the color code, yeah. For my love I will die, you know. But before I do, let the record show that I brought her flowers every day. And she loved them, she loved me, she never felt that way. So if you feel you need some gray, that's okay, child, cause you know you just got to ask, and I'll come back. You know come back and give you grace.
There's one thing you can't say about the French countryside, is that it's quiet. My bad luck in France has just got worse. My phone that I've been using for navigation has stopped working, which is a problem. I had paper maps for France, but they got lost in the post, so I've had to switch to the GPS. So I've got no paper maps. There's a town probably a mile away. Hopefully there'll be a shop there that sells at the very least a regional map. But this, it's just, it gives me the status bar at the top of the battery life and the time. Nothing else. Oh, hang on. Doing something. Oh. I've been granted a temporary reprieve. I guess that's what happens when you get the camera out. But yeah, this is a major issue. It's the second time it's done this. It did this a couple of days ago when I left Levans, about 4 days ago, and then it started working. So I'm going to have to source some maps. Definitely, I should have done so after Levans. I was in the Vercors now. These mountains lie west of the Alps and form part of the Pre-Alps. It's a beautiful but quiet landscape and was one of my favourite sections of the entire walk. So it's a couple of days after this played up on me, and I've been shopping. I've had this stuff a couple of days now. First item is this. It's a 1 to 200,000 1 centimetre to 2 kilometre regional map of the Rhône-Alpes region, which will see me all the way up to the Swiss border. The second is this. It's a topo guide for the GR9, and the GR9 is the path that I'm following Well, I've been on since Neons, and I'll be on this all the way to Grenoble, so I can use this for a good week or more. I do like these topo guides. I've seen people use them on the trail before, especially in the Pyrenees. They've got text telling you what's in the towns and the route and stuff, which, you know, it's in French, I can't really read. But what I do like about them is they've got 1 to 50k mapping in it with the route on. But at least I know that if this doesn't switch on, if it dies completely, I've got mapping that's good enough to kind of get through the hills.
And months and years that I learned to like it here. I tried to be indifferent and swallow everything. I learned to like the way you learn at school, but sometimes it's just not you. Don't say oh no, because I don't think that you do. 'Cause life is never done by numbers, and that is all I know. You bet I will be gone tomorrow. When you get up, I will be gone. Oh, I beneath the sky and the sea, the soft breeze of the morning is a night, because I believe in memory in the early hours when I catch the light. Oh,
The only thing I didn't like about the Vaucours was the caterpillars. Hundreds and thousands of these things would dangle over the trail, and it was impossible to get past without picking up a stowaway, or several hundred.
Take the dive, so this is it. I can't say I regret. Whatever comes, I won't look back. And if I die, at least I was alive. I was alive. And life is never done by numbers, and that is what I know. Believe I will.
So today I'm walking on a road. Just left Grenoble and I'm walking to Chambéry. Why am I walking on a road? I'm probably not asking. I'll tell you anyway. Basically, I could have walked over the Chartreuse to these mountains here. Look very nice. I think it's a 2 to 3 day trek over them from Grenoble to Chambéry. And the weather is very, very changeable. I've just had a day off in Chambéry, and literally every time I looked at what the forecast was going to be for the coming few days, it was completely different. Last time I looked, it was overcast like this today. Tomorrow is going to be rain, and the day after probably thunderstorms. So I was just kind of worried going up high, getting stuck in those mountains, and then getting stuck again trying to get into the Alps.
No, because
was on that road for about 8 or 9 hours. I found an alternate route to a little town called Pontcharra, and now I'm walking down this gravel track alongside a railway line. The clouds have really look a bit, they're not looking totally spooky yet, but you can tell we are gonna get some thunder, I reckon. If not tonight, tomorrow. But as well, the air is just really heavy. It's been really hot today. It's been like 29 degrees, but had cloud cover all day. And so I've just had a thin film of sweat on me all day, and it's just something's got to break, really. I'd spent the last week in the Vaucluse, but the sudden appearance of all the ski lifts and the chalets made it clear I had made it to the Alps. And as the spire of the Aiguille du Midi emerged from above the clouds, I knew the resort of Chamonix was just one more descent away. France, 716 miles from the Pyrenees to the Alps, which is where I am now. That's the Aiguille du Midi mid-station at something like 2,300 metres. Up there we've got Mont Blanc, and then the Aiguille du Midi up there, and the cable car is zipping back and forth. While crossing France, it felt like everything that could go wrong did go wrong. My shoes and my maps got lost in the post, my tent poles snapped, And then the phone I was using, because my maps got lost, became unreliable. Other than quitting, all I could do was just get on with it and find a way to make it all work. As for country number 4, I wouldn't take it on alone. A mate would walk with me across a land of high passes and higher peaks, a land of glaciers and ice-cold mountain water. Switzerland, the heart of the Alps themselves.